Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife sit across from each other at a desk. And what do they do at that desk? Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, then I want to take your hand instead of my wife's and explain to you the deep lore of so many different things. Like the lore of this podcast. How did it start? What is it about? Who are these people? Their names are the Perlmans, and this podcast is about opening so many tabs as you delve deeper into the lore and the background that is our world. What is there? What is this? What is now? What is when? Why is this new camera?
I think you're spiraling.
I am. Everyone's spiraling.
This podcast started because we made TikToks with a SpongeBob filter.
Oh, that's right. And now we don't. And people were like, I would listen to a podcast about this.
And we said, okay.
That was some pretty quick lore there.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you guys for everybody. This is the announcements part. First announcement. Let me tell you something. I got a new camera.
Nice.
For the
Looking
YouTube.
good.
Hello, everybody on YouTube.
Looking good.
More and more people are starting to listen to us over there and watch us. By watch us, I mean watch me.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But I will say I really like this new camera, giving me a little bit more body dysmorphia.
Oh, good.
It's good. It's good, healthy body dysmorphia. Feeling a little certain way about it. But we're learning a lot.
Doctor said you're doing good.
No, I did. I went to the doctor. Doctor said I was fine.
Yeah.
Then also today, I have one of those apps where they're like, here's all your charts and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like you should call me on those. Instead of just sending me random numbers. I'm like, what does this mean?
Jerks.
Yeah.
Real jerk behavior.
But beyond that.
What are our announcements?
Well, we did an episode of The Warm Up.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I hope you're taking a hot shower. Drinking a lot of water.
Drink a lot of water.
Go to sleep. Stop scrolling. Go to sleep.
Go outside. Get some sun on your face.
Take
Seasonal
a walk.
depression is real.
If you got a kitty cat, kiss it on the little forehead.
If you got,
a puppy dog,
yeah,
scratch his little butt.
If you have children, hold them.
Yeah, give them kisses.
Give them kisses. Watch them Sesame Street.
Yeah, have a good time.
I don't care if they're 13. Watch them Sesame Street. So, listen.
Honestly, Sesame Street might be great.
The Cookie Monster covering any movie.
Oh my God, Cookie Monster has covered Les Mis. Is a great one.
Yep.
Jurassic Park.
Yep. The Avengers.
The show with the zombies he did.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who haven't watched Sesame Street in a while, we've been watching a lot of it.
We're deep into Sesame
and
Street.
Cookie Monster does movie and TV parodies.
Yeah.
And they're actually really good.
Oh, the Twilight one? Did you say that already?
Oh no, I did not say. There is.
The Twilight one is crazy.
There is a Twilight, not Twilight Zone. Twilight. Yes, that one with the sparkle vampires. That one. There is a Twilight Cookie Monster parody.
It's
where he plays, I think, the dad.
I don't. All I know is the girl is the funniest.
Oh my God!
puppet.
Yeah, the girl who plays Bella.
Asleep.
Yeah, the one who plays Bella, and the guy who plays Edward. Like they have like an Edward. It's y'all. They nail Eddie Redmayne in the Les Mis one.
Yeah, the Les Mis.
It's hard to explain to y'all unless you also have been having a manic depressive episode with a baby while watching YouTube.
Just a bit of existential crisis.
Just a little bit.
Which is why I'm saying let's take hot showers and drink some water and go outside.
But also have things to look forward to. And as we announced on a previous
we got
episode,
stuff to look forward to.
I am in the middle of reading ACOTAR 3.
We're doing it.
Horny Fairy 3 will be happening. By Thanksgiving, and Mrs. P.
I don't
has
think it's
announced
by Thanksgiving. It's just this month.
This month, yeah. Well, it's gonna be.
Listen, I don't. You say something, people are gonna come at you. You're late or something.
That's true. I am trying. It's the worst book I've ever read. I hate this book more than anything else.
He reads it in bed, and somebody just rolls over and goes, "Fuck, I hate this book."
Y'all, I've been going to bed angry every night, and not because of the state of the world. It's been because of the decisions that were made by Sarah J. Maas, the author of ACOTAR, and people in the background going, "Yeah," me going, "No."
Yeah.
And
then I just giggle.
Yeah.
As I can see the
as I
grumpy line.
shudder with anger. But you also had an announcement in time for next week.
Oh, so in the spirit of my favorite holiday,
Thanksgiving,
we are going to, number one, I'm going to post on the Patreon my deviled egg recipe.
Yep.
As a PDF. You can print that bad boy out, and then you can make them.
Yep, and this is going to be available for all levels.
Yep, it's going to be delicious.
Yep.
And then, as Patreon exclusive, we are actually going to do an audio recording of me explaining this recipe and how to make it to Alex, who is not the best at cooking.
No.
But I'm going to explain to him how to make deviled eggs. And that way, if reading and doing a recipe is difficult for you, there'll be an audio version so you can listen to it in the kitchen while you're making the deviled eggs.
Yep.
Boom.
And final thing is we've been slowly growing more and more with ad reads and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so for anybody, again, as always, the Patreon exclusive episodes, whether it be the warm-up or this show itself on the Patreon app, does not include advertisements. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hear the show without any advertisements, go join over there and you will get access to that show. So that's it. And if you want to join
we should do a Patreon exclusive where you describe where we videotape you making HelloFresh.
You've tried.
What? That's so bad.
I know. I was like... The thing is with the HelloFresh, it showed up in like the final weeks of the election cycle.
Yeah.
And I just looked into the window. I was like, I have to cook right now. And you're like, yeah, it's going to go bad. So you got to cook it. And I did. And listen, I learned a lot about what I hate about our kitchen. And
all right. Well, speaking of our kitchen.
Yes.
Let's get this episode
We should get into this episode because this is all going to be about food. Mm-hmm. It's all about the food pyramid.
Nope.
No?
This is about food fortification.
Food fortification. Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't even know what that means.
Yep.
So we're going to take a break.
Yep.
And when we come back, we're going to know all about food fortification.
Also, I'd like to say that maybe you won't know everything.
Maybe
this isn't like an educational podcast. This is just two people doing research.
Yeah, I mean, researching
trying to tell each other some stuff.
Listen, researching and yapping.
Yeah, we just
we used to cover a lot more at the very beginning of our episodes before we started doing more historical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in kind of a history kick for a bit.
Yeah,
we would remind people though constantly we're not journalists.
Yeah, no.
And I think that should be clear. I hope that's clear.
I hope it's clear.
I feel like it should be. But that, and in this case, talking about food fortification, we're not food scientists.
No.
And
I wish I was. What a cool job.
I just started following one on TikTok, and she keeps posting about real conversations.
She gets bummed out about people asking her about
seed oils,
the non-pasteurized milk.
Yeah, don't drink raw milk.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like these are real life conversations.
My favorite is online the trad wives. The trad wives online. They'll all talk about their unpasteurized milk, the raw milk they get, but then they go home with it and they're like, well, I gotta boil it first. I'm like, okay, so you do understand.
Yeah,
you're boiling it.
That's pasteurization.
Louis Pasteur did not.
Yeah, Louis Pasteur.
Ma'am.
Yeah, the it is actually very funny that watching. I will say, even though we're not journalists.
Yeah.
I will say it's been very funny watching journalists catch up to you a year ago. Like the amount of people are like, what do you mean trad wife content is actually a gateway for conservatism?
Oh my God, guys. Guys, we've been saying it.
Oh, real quick, by the way, to anyone who listened to last week's episode, I once a day, I look at my reflection in the mirror and yell socialist sheriff and then back away.
He still can't handle it. So listen, the National Library of Medicine's overview of food fortification in the U.S. and Canada writes, quote, in the United States, as in most parts of the world, fortification of food was initiated as a systemic approach to correct identified nutrient deficiencies in the population. So the first real time we started fortifying food.
Hold on, real quick. What is food fortification?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
The first time we did it,
in
1924, was when they started putting iodine in salt.
Okay, why do we do that?
Because a bunch of people in the health space realized that Americans specifically kept getting goiters.
Goiters?
Do you know what a goiter is?
I know that term.
It's when your thyroid swells up in your neck and it's really, we actually, because of iodized salt, we don't see people with goiters anymore.
Is that where you have like the bullfrog neck?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So your thyroids get inflamed and swell because you grow these goiters on your thyroids. And that's because you don't have enough iodine in your diet.
Goiters are also, there's like the thing, I think I've had like dogs get, you know how they get like those lumps? That's like a goiter. You know, like sometimes like dogs. We've had a dog that had them.
Yeah, but I don't think it was iodine. Really.
No, it's not iodine. I'm saying that, but that's like also what a goiter is. It's
Yeah.
like that kind of lump swelling, and it's not a tumor.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a tumor. It's just.
But
this
it does
thing.
have negative effects because it's on your thyroid.
Yeah, what's on your thyroid, so it can push on things and it can ruin other stuff.
Yeah.
So they added iodine to salt.
In 1924 because there was such a crisis of goiters in America. So basically, the American Public Health Association, the Council on Foods and Nutrition, the American Medical Association, and the Committee on Food and Nutrition of the National Academy of Sciences all got together and were like, hey, if we put iodine in salt, everybody uses salt, it will lower the amount of goiters in America. And this is when they were like, we could just make additions to food.
And that worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen a goiter in a minute?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
But I also haven't been looking.
Yeah.
Because also, I just want to stop you real fast before you move on.
Okay.
Because everything you just described to me sounds Illuminati. I just want to throw that out there. It sounds not only Illuminati. I'm gonna also guess Freemasonry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a little Freemason in there.
You know what's interesting? So like when I went down this rabbit hole, and when our amazing research assistant sent me over some information, and I of course said, hey, shout out.
Yeah.
When I was going through and like following up some stuff, it was interesting because as we talk about this, there'll be a lot of pros and cons to all of this.
Yeah.
And like I don't have a specific set opinion on all of it in like a very firm way. But there is like this weird pushback.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it, like what you're saying. So that initial fortification effort had another one in 1933, which is when they started putting vitamin D in milk.
Oh, we add that.
We add the vitamin D to the milk.
Okay.
And you know what's interesting is, as someone who takes calcium supplements,
my
doctor told me I had to.
Because you don't like milk.
That's one reason.
Yeah.
But also because of the celiacs. So when I take my calcium, he says, oh, also you have to take a gel cap of vitamin D because vitamin D helps you absorb calcium better.
Okay.
Right? And so that's the main reason they started putting vitamin D in milk.
Okay.
So that people would absorb calcium better.
So if you're drinking raw milk, you're gonna get some gut bacteria from a poisoned udder,
and E. coli,
and some E. coli. But you're probably not gonna get any vitamin D.
No vitamin D.
There's none. You gotta drink a Sunny D for that.
Yeah. So in the 1930s, the United States began to fortify milk with vitamin D in an effort to eradicate rickets.
Okay, what's a ricket?
Rickets is a disease caused by vitamin D deficiency that softens and weakens the bones. It was actually rampant among poor children in the northern United States. In 1923, American physician Harry Steinbach demonstrated that they could irradiate milk with ultraviolet light, which increased the vitamin D content. So that's how they did it. Rickets in itself is, like I said, the softening and weakening of bones, and it's characterized by people with bow legs, delayed growth, and motor skills, and also they have a lot of spinal pain. Historically, the Medici family was said to all have rickets.
Medici. Yeah. Okay.
Also, O.J. Simpson had it.
Yeah. They thought I was gonna be bow-legged a little bit when I was a kid. Yeah, but then my legs like just straightened out. But yeah, no, okay, all right. So rickets is one of those ones that I would hear about in stories.
Yeah,
would it be like, oh, that's little Tim and he has the rickets?
Yeah, Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim had rickets, but yeah, vitamin D you can get from sunlight, which is why they're using UV rays to get it in there.
Exactly.
But also, wait. So if you take a vitamin D supplement, you're literally taking a sunlight pill?
Sort of, kind of, not really.
Okay, but I'm gonna go.
I think we talked about a cult that ate sunlight.
Time out. I think you're talking about breatharians. Time out. I want to just go, and from here on out, listen, America, I heard you're looking for a liberal Joe Rogan.
Oh, no.
So I take a vitamin D, and that means I get the sunlight in my body. And then once I get the sunlight, Jamie, can you pull up the sun? Sorry. No, I find this very interesting because, it's very funny how in the 20s and 30s, as they're starting to fortify these things and get rid of all these diseases and children start living longer, we like peak.
Yeah.
And then we just get real dumb.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Maybe I just feel like, again, it's one of those things where like maybe it's survival bias.
Exactly.
Like,
because we don't know what rickets is now.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, why would we need to
Why would that be
fortify
annoying?
the milk?
Yeah.
It's clearly bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's because we got rid of rickets.
Yeah. Well, there used to be more.
I only use pink Himalayan sea salt because I don't want that iodized salt.
Yeah. I only like my Himalayan sea salt brought over to me by Tibetan slaves that are being crushed by the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh, no.
Womp. Yep.
So, moving on away from rickets.
Okay.
This is funny. The National Park Service, that's where this information is pulled from. The National Park Service says, during the Great Depression, many across the United States suffered from hunger and malnutrition. A main concern was a widespread lack of B vitamins, resulting in tired, nervous, and a depressed population.
Okay.
And this is very funny because, like, there's a lot of people that'll be like, I'm B12 deficient, and that's why they're depressed and anxious, because people are B12 deficient. It's also just, like, a funny thing to say when you're just swirling in anxiety, and you're like, it must be because I'm not taking B12, not everything around us.
Okay, so saying I'm B12, it's like saying that Mercury's in retrograde or whatever.
Sort of, kind of.
Okay, but I mean, it's like that kind of thing of like, oh, this thing is.
I'm pretty sure we're in Scorpio. I don't know. As World War II became increasingly inevitable.
I like how I push back a little bit on the astrology, and you're like, shut up.
I'm not. I literally, on my Instagram right now, I am fighting with a cooking website because they posted a meme about the different types of mashed potato or different type of potato dishes that each astrological sign would like, and it's so wrong that I'm mad. And I've been posting on Instagram about it. I'm like, a Libra would never like German potato salad. I have strong opinions.
What did it say for Taurus?
Oh, it said like baked potato soup.
What? Fuck you.
Exactly. And and I said no, a Taurus wants shoestring French fries so they can fistful them in their mouth and somebody else cook them.
Yes. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Oh, I bet it was an AI generated meme.
No, it's actually from like one of my favorite cooking magazines.
But the thing is what you're describing, I've heard of this meme before. Yeah. They just changed it to other stuff. Yeah. Though I will say, I was recently on a short form video game show called Gaydar.
Yep, I remember that.
And it was very popular.
You did great. People loved it.
Listen, people really enjoyed it. But they just released a new episode. Mm-hmm. And the first question they asked the person is, what are your thoughts about astrology? And they said, I don't subscribe to racism from space.
Space racism.
And I paused. I paused.
Yeah.
I was like, you boomed me on that one. Yeah, it is very true.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, listen, I'm here. This is one thing I'll say about astrology.
What?
I don't yuck anybody's yum on it.
I know.
When it comes to astrology, wherever you find peace, my mom goes to, what are the people sticking with the needles? Acupuncture. I don't believe in it. But she feels better afterwards.
It makes Magistra happy.
It makes her happy. It makes her
us
happy. Listen, that's fine. However, if she said, I'm going to do this instead of going and getting a specific treatment that has been, then we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
If you come in
also,
and say.
You are literally the most Taurus person ever.
What?
You are.
I am not.
Oh, are you stubborn?
I'm very chill and go with the flow.
Okay.
I'm not opinionated at all.
What would you prefer, to go out to a nightclub until 5 a.m. or to stay home snuggled up on the couch watching all your favorite shows, eating all of your favorite snacks?
What's the temperature outside? What day of the week are we talking?
Wednesday. A large crowd on a Wednesday. You want to do it?
I'm more likely to go deal with large crowd on a Wednesday and I'll be fucked if it's going to be a large crowd on a Friday or a Saturday. I'll be fucked if I go out there with those weekend jovial people. I used to go out every Wednesday, and I go out there. I would do open mics. I'd stay out till 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Now I take heartburn medication
when you wake up,
yeah,
so that you can sleep later. If you have to do it 12 hours in advance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen.
It's prescription.
So World War II we're on the precipice of World War II, right? And
wait, now?
Yeah, in my notes.
In your story. Okay.
In my notes.
Hold on, time out.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do.
We're on the precipice of war. Yeah, I know.
No,
I mean in the story.
In my notes.
So we're talking about like 1939, 1940.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the vitamin D stuff started in 1933.
Okay.
So the government's getting worried because, like I said, everybody's B12 deficient. And they're concerned because so many civilians that they need to pull into the military are not healthy enough. They're all malnourished and unfit to serve.
Yeah.
So they are like, okay, we can kind of see the writing on the wall. It's 1940 now. They're like, we got to get these people healthy so that if we pull them in for war, they're not malnourished.
Yeah. Which is a problem actually historically for armies.
Yeah.
That they can have such a unhealthy populace that more people die from just disease and starvation than they do the actual fighting.
Yeah.
That's why most wars are won via logistics. Just so that's my fun little side. Now keep going.
In 1940, the Food and Nutrition Board, the FNB, was founded to advise on nutrition problems in connection with national defense. That same year, commercial bakeries volunteered to fortify bread. They replaced B vitamins that were removed. So basically when you refine wheat into white flour, it takes all the B vitamins out. So they started adding the B vitamins and other vitamins and minerals after the flour had been refined. Okay. And so that's why we have enriched bread. Enriched white bread. That's what it means. They're putting all the B vitamins and other vitamins and mineral. And so this became a government mandate in 1943 that they said all white bread has to be enriched.
Yeah, you hear that, white breads? You're getting these B's.
You get these B's.
You're going to be B-boys, white breads.
And, this was to combat poor nutrition. Yeah. But also they had this other thing where they could have kind of aimed it directly at certain groups because they were like, these are the people that are going to go to war. But they made it a national thing because they knew they needed to enrich the food for all the kids because most of the doctors, 1 in 3 doctors, were going to war. And so they knew that they needed to keep the kids healthy because there were not going to be as many doctors around.
Oh. Also, it's one of those things. Again, there's a lot of conversations about targeted population for when it comes to like tax breaks or to certain programs. And I'm always for opening up just for everybody. Yeah. Because then you're going to cover everybody. Yeah. But because like there was an argument about when they were talking about student loan debt forgiveness. They wanted to do what's called means testing. Oh, okay, and part of that is like, hey, if you make over $250,000, you shouldn't get any student loan debt. And they'll be like, why? And because then it becomes a tax break for the rich. I'm like, well, what amount are we talking about here? Yeah. And so it becomes this sort of thing, and what it ends up doing is swiping the legs out from underneath it. Yeah. So if they had only targeted enriched white bread to people who were 16 years to 35, because that's the only people who could get drafted, it would not work. Yeah. And so by targeting it to the entire nation and getting every bakery to do this, yeah, you cover the entire nation. You're definitely it's being outside the goal. Yeah. So when you have a goalie, I'm using a lot more metaphors now. Yeah. When you have a goalie defending a goal, right, in soccer, sometimes they're further out so they can jump on the ball sooner. Yeah. As they get further and further back into the goal, they are covering less and less space with how much they have to move. Yeah. And so that's that same general idea. I think that's really, really neat. And I wish we were still that smart.
Yeah. And basically I also just found some more information about how like that program with the white bread was they also segued it into school lunches because again, men were going off to war at this point. Yep. Women had to go into the factories. So school lunches were provided and they had to make sure that was with the enriched bread and the vitamin D milk and the iodized salt. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like they knew that maybe mom was too busy to pack lunches. So they were making sure that the school lunches had all these enriched foods in them.
Yeah. And in some cases they might not even have food at home or mom is working now for the first time. Yeah. Because that was a big part of this was women going into the workforce during this time.
Oh man. Rosie the Riveter, baby.
Yep. That's a riveter noise.
That's the riveter noise. So since their introduction, fortified foods have been used to combat global malnutrition. Yeah. The World Health Organization estimates that more than 2 billion people have a deficit in key vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin A, iodine, iron, and zinc. Most of these affected populations are from developing countries where they have multiple deficiencies in their diet. And of course, the most vulnerable group is children, pregnant women, and lactating women.
Okay.
So the World Health Organization says the leading cause of child death worldwide is linked to malnutrition. And there's also like long-term consequences to being micronutrient deficient, right? It can be irreversible, like not having iodine, not having these certain vitamins, long-term consequences. And so me, being me, having like, I knew about the bread thing. And I was like, that's a good thing we did as Americans. We were like, let's enrich the bread so that kids get this. And I always knew why we iodize salt, because as someone who bakes and cooks a lot, I have both kosher salt and iodized salt in the kitchen at all times. So like I've always known the difference and why iodized salt. I guess I don't know when I learned it, but I just always knew it. So like I was always like, this is a good and important thing, right, that we've done. But here's the thing. Again, I don't have a solid opinion on this. I just kind of wanted to yap about it.
Yeah.
I think maybe sometimes America went too far.
Okay.
It's like, the thing is, right, I don't know, is that like we fortified the food, right, the certain things, but then we fortified everything.
Everything?
You know, like we add these minerals and micronutrients to so much stuff that like, did we overdo it in the way that Americans overdo everything?
Mm-hmm. So
like, most American adults already get enough calcium, folic acid, and iron without eating fortified foods, like today.
Yeah.
For healthy people eating a varied diets, they might not even need fortification at this point. And so, like, that's the thing is, like, they're kind of, like, talking about general people that are, like, I guess statistically, like, the average.
Yeah.
But again, people in poverty might not have access to, like, as much spinach.
Okay.
So adults need like 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams of calcium per day. And you can get that in dairy. You can get it in spinach, beans, fruits, nuts. But you don't want to exceed a certain amount of calcium per day. But like if you're eating all these different fortified foods accidentally and not knowing it, you could like be at risk for medical issues, like kidney stones can happen if you have too much calcium.
Okay.
So like, it's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
That like we might have overdone it in these certain ways. Another one is like folic acid. So the Institute of Medicine recommends that adults consume 400 micrograms of folate per day. That's folic acid is folate, which you get from beans, leafy greens, eggs. But you shouldn't get more than 1,000 micrograms, right?
In a day.
In a day.
Okay.
But many manufacturers add folic acid to bread, cereal, flour, pasta, rice. So like if you are having like a really diverse diet, you might be getting too much. So you have to know to look for it, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think opposite, because we see like these supplement shillers on the internet who are always just selling new types of multivitamins.
Yeah.
They're like, this one's for your hair. I'm looking at Tati Westbrook right now. She's her like little hair gummies or whatever it was. The hair pills that started was it not Dragageddon? Whatever. I forget what it was called. It was when all the Dramageddon, when all the beautiful ones went for each other. That started because of biotin pills. Yeah. That were like high in folate so your hair would grow. Yeah. Whatever. So like because we have like people online, like the fitness people and all these are always selling supplements, like there's so many extra supplements going around right now.
I understand what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I think the problem you end up with, and I understand what you're saying, is there is a combination of us actually having too much information.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that there are guidelines and there are areas where we're like, hey, this is about right. Mm-hmm. But then people will lose their minds. Like, again, I go back to that one food scientist. I think I mentioned on the warm-up before this one. There's a food scientist I follow on TikTok now where it's her talking about like conversations she has all the time. And one of them recently was about aspartame being a carcinogen. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, in the amounts there are per Diet Coke, you would have to drink 19 to 24 of them a day.
Yeah.
a day
It's crazy
to
amount.
get cancer. And it was like, oh, it's like, yeah, like in these certain amounts, like we've done the testing on them.
Yeah.
And so there's being aware of it, and then there's being too aware, but also like, I don't know.
But that's the thing is like the misinformation about health is
It's
so crazy
rampant
right now.
Yeah.
And so like, well, it has been for since the internet.
Yeah.
And so like, I think that's just such a, I don't want to say interesting. It's very complex and nuanced. And so like, knowing,
which is again why we're not food scientists.
we're not food scientists.
We just want to say that.
I'm just a lady that got stuck with too many tabs open looking at folic acid.
Yeah. But I think you're right. Is that there can be concerns about those things, but I think it's more important that people just know that, hey, some of these things are fortified by it.
Yeah.
To look at what those amounts are on the nutrition label.
Yeah.
And I think more people need to understand on how to read a nutrition label. And then to keep those things in mind, because like I've never even like until you've said folic acid to me right now.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it.
Really?
As folic acid as a thing.
See, and
Until you
that's crazy
start
because
talking about-
when I was pregnant, it was all folic acid, baby.
No, I know. I know because then that's when we started talking about
Yeah.
it. You would look at certain things like I can't have this as too much of this. I can't have this. This is what's setting this off.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm over here of just I open my food hole. I put food in it.
You put
Sometimes
the
hold on.
shrimp penne from Chili's.
Sometimes I put in too much fried food, and then you're like, you're depressed. Eat a vegetable.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then I eat a vegetable.
Yeah.
And then I poop.
Uh-huh.
And then I go, what was I so sad about?
It's just lack of fiber, really.
Most of my answers are just eating more fiber.
And fiber and water cure a lot of what's going on with you.
That's most of me. But at the same exact time, like we've had these conversations before about, you know, I'm like hesitant to get too much into the dietitian nutrition game.
Yeah.
Because until 500 some days ago, I was ripping cigs. I was just ripping them babies. And like, you know.
And me too. That's the thing is like, I think I've said this on the podcast before,
Yeah.
but there's nothing that drives me crazier than someone who's like a health nut and is like, you need to eat organic, non-GMO, blah, blah. And then they're like an ex-drug addict. Like, babe.
Yeah.
I snorted who knows what off the back of the dirtiest toilet in the dirtiest bar.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say nothing about whether or not it's organic. I don't care.
And you know, and you know, Mrs. P, with that, I think we should take a break for our commercial sponsors. Y'all, if you don't want to hear an ad, join us on our Patreon. But if you are okay with it, just sit around. We'll be back right after this. Ready for fall flavors?
Ooh, I am.
HelloFresh has you covered with farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes sent right to your door. Make home cooking fun, easy, and affordable with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit for a reason. Don't worry if you have picky kids, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, if you're counting calories or looking to boost your protein, HelloFresh has recipes for you.
Also, it's incredibly convenient. It comes right to your door. All the ingredients are in the bag. And when it's time to make dinner, you just pull it out. Everything's pre-portioned and ready to go.
And you have the recipes right there,
Oh,
and it's so simple to use and follow. HelloFresh has over 50 recipes to choose from each week and over 100 market add-on items like desserts, breakfast, and snacks. So HelloFresh has you covered. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free tabs. Applied across 7 boxes, new subscribers only, and varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/free tabs. And we're back.
We're back.
We're here.
What were we talking about?
Okay. We were talking
Sorry.
about over-fortification mixed in with kind of the levels. But I understand what you mean, because also a bigger difference, which I was thinking about a little bit during the break, is some of, especially in processed foods that we get these days, are a lot more complicated than what was offered in the 1930s.
Yeah.
So in the 1930s, you would get something that maybe had 6 ingredients in it. It wasn't being run through food science, but we also didn't have as great of an understanding over what could be done with food.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like There's something always talks about, when people are like, what would the founding fathers think if you took George Washington and brought him to look at America? And what they mean is like, isn't it so woke now? And like, isn't this been ruined? And
He would
it's like,
piss
no,
himself.
no, legit. This is what they would think. We would hand them a Dorito and they would kill themselves because they'd be like, they would not understand a Cool Ranch Dorito.
Yeah.
I think a Cool Ranch Dorito would make Thomas Jefferson weep.
I think he'd have a lot more to weep about.
I think he'd have a lot more to weep about, but also
we'd bring him to center square and be like, "This is Thomas Jefferson," and it'd be bad. Bad news bears for that guy.
Well, there'd be that, but I feel like Ben Franklin,
Benny,
like y'all.
Benny would be like, "Wait, OnlyFans?"
I feel like though, people need to keep in mind that we fought, and by we I mean the human race.
Yeah,
has fought wars over spices in ways that we can't even imagine,
and
not even
don't even use them right. It's like all the spices and you don't even use them right.
But I just had a little bit of coriander. Just add a little bit of coriander.
Coriander? Is that what you're saying?
Coriander.
Is that what you're saying right now?
Yeah, that's my daughter, Coriander.
Oh my god. So wait, listen. The second half.
It's like Sally.
Sally
Mander.
So then what happened was we started looking more at like the GMOs, right? Genetically modified organisms.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because like that's the next level of fortification is like you change the makeup of the food itself.
Yeah.
And those are highly contested, right? Like people are like, no GMOs, or some people are like, GMOs are good. And so I was always like, I always thought GMOs are good because they create food for a population that maybe might have access to food. Mm-hmm. But it's like incredibly nuanced. And as I was reading it, I was like, it's nothing but gray areas.
With GMOs.
Yeah. And so I just picked, with the help of Sabesh, of course, we picked a specific type of rice called golden rice. Have you ever heard of golden rice?
No.
So golden rice is a genetically modified rice that contains beta carotene, like as in carrots. Okay. Right? And
I love that beta carotene is in carrots because it's in the name.
Yeah.
All food should do this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Orange
like potassium.
Is orange.
No, but potassium shouldn't be called potassium. It should be like banana.
But
like put banana in the word. Put it in the thing. Beta carotene, nailed it. Everyone else should copy beta carotene. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Whatever our new government is.
Shh, no government talk.
All right.
So. That's so funny talking about all of this and then be like, no government talk.
No government talk.
So beta carotene is important. It's obviously we all know carrots are good for your eyes. Beta carotene itself helps prevent blindness. Right?
Okay.
And it's also just like a nutrient your body needs.
It's an eye fortification, right?
Yeah.
Fortifying eyes.
Fortify your eyes.
Every time I know
eat a carrot.
I know you don't play RPGs, role playing games.
No.
But especially video game RPGs.
No.
But every time I
played Animal Crossing. Does that count?
No. Every time you say fortify, I think of Skyrim and making potions in the game Skyrim.
Okay.
Because you can fortify like skills in that and make them stronger. So like I can fortify like my one-handed weapon ability or my archery or my pickpocketing skills.
Oh.
So you can take you can make and take potions that'll fortify specific skills.
That's what I'm talking about today.
No, I know.
We're fortifying food for skills.
I wish it was just potions though. Honestly, if we called all medicines potions, this would be so much easier.
We are so on the way to that.
We are very close. Well, that was like with King Charles III.
Yeah.
Which it's going to drive me crazy. I always forget that we're on King Charles III now.
Yeah.
Of England. Mm-hmm. Because my whole life there was only 2, and now we've had 3, and I've been ignoring it the whole time. But he has the cancer.
Okay.
You know, it's been pretty public about it. Mm-hmm. But like he's I think I've heard it's bad. Mm-hmm. And he's been doing alternative medicine.
No.
And because he's old.
He's like apple cider vinegar.
He's old and fucked. And their country's dying. But they're like, yeah, the king hasn't been seen in a while, and we've heard he's been taking potions. And I was like, yes, we're fucking back, baby. Let's go.
There's a court. What
There's
were they called?
An alchemist.
Yeah, there's a court alchemist making potions. Incredible.
But yeah, I feel like instead of calling them supplements,
it's Katy Perry with apple cider vinegar.
No, Katy Perry strikes again. No, I feel like supplements in general, we should just call them potions.
Yeah.
Let's just call them potions. And then honestly, from there on out, fine.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Just don't call it a supplement.
Yeah, listen, we could do a whole episode on why supplements are what's called supplements and how they're not regulated. But listen. Yeah. So this is one of the most famous varieties of rice when it comes
golden
rice. It's okay, so here's how it starts, right? The Rockefellers. No.
For real?
The Rockefeller Foundation.
All right.
Started funding a global network of scientists through their nonprofit work to do research about the problem of malnutrition globally.
Okay, time out.
Yeah.
I need you to say it now, all like you're Alex Jones.
No, I can't.
Okay, I will. The Rockefellers got in touch with their global network to study the malnutrition of children. Do you hear what I'm saying, America? My fellow patriots, the Rockefellers and their global network of scientists. Anyway, that'll bring the money in.
Back when billionaires did stuff for the good. Kind of. This is a weird one.
It's a sprinkling on top. It was a cover.
It was a cover.
All right.
I think maybe. I don't know. So they got their first real breakthrough in 1999 when some of the scientists in Switzerland inserted 2 genes into rice that switched the production of beta carotene in the rice. So a single bowl of this new golden rice can supply 60% of a child's daily requirement for vitamin A and beta carotene.
Okay.
This is incredible, right? Because rice doesn't have that much vitamin A or beta carotene. Yeah. And so they have genetically changed the genes in rice that it now contains these things. Yeah. And it turned it's called the endosperm. It turned the endosperm of the rice yellow, and it made the rice yellow. So it's called golden. Okay. And this yellow color is it signifies the beta carotene the way that carrots are orange, right?
Okay, gotcha.
So we got beta carotene and vitamin A, very important. Regular white rice doesn't have these nutrients, and globally, many children, when they're weaned off of breast milk, are weaned with rice cereal.
Yeah,
right? So rice. They say like rice.
We did a little bit with our son. Yeah. And also
but this is an oatmeal household.
This is an oatmeal household, but we did use rice cereal for a minute. Yeah.
But also, it's fortified.
Yeah, but also it's just where places can get it. It's all about because rice is more abundant, so you can do rice cereal and also rice milk.
Yeah. But also like I think when we're talking about non-developed countries, they're taking rice, boiling it, and making
That's what I mean. But it's also rice.
But like ours was like our doctor was like, hey, get this one and she said to me, it's fortified with iron. It's important that the baby has iron at this stage. Yeah. And I said, okay, got it. So like this is a huge deal. This golden rice is going to change the way that children are weaning and like getting these nutrients, right? So it's really important. Yeah. So some of these U.S. funded researchers published the results of a nutritional study showing that people's bodies easily absorb this beta carotene from the golden rice. And they had done the study in China on children, right? And this result seemed like great news. But then the environmental group Greenpeace immediately was like, this is unacceptable. They scream scandal. They're angry and furious because they were like, you're using Chinese children as guinea pigs. Mm-hmm. And you didn't clarify to the parents that these were genetically modified bowls of rice. You didn't say that. You just said, oh, they have beta carotene, but you didn't say it was genetically modified. Okay. So like Greenpeace is like, and then the Chinese government stepped in and fired all the researchers, and it was like a whole big deal. Yeah.
This is why you need to have ethics and research.
Yes. Okay. You have to have ethics.
I mean, I agree with that. Yeah. I have my issues with Greenpeace sometimes, but
listen, okay. I never knew nothing about no Greenpeace.
What?
And then I started reading and I'm like, why is Greenpeace yelling about food science? And then I started reading about Greenpeace. Yo, what? They're like PETA level crazy about
They're
certain
all
things.
over the place. They
take up all kinds of different, like...
Listen.
I had no idea.
I have a theory about PETA and Greenpeace.
Yeah.
That they exist to make reasonable ideas seem insane.
This is an opinion.
This is
an opinion.
Oh, wait, hold on. Don't I have that button?
Allegedly.
There we go. But and again, it's a theory. This is literally just one of my sub things.
Yeah.
But like, I have everything that PETA has ever tried to do, the Humane Society has done.
Yes.
There are so many things like that, and with Greenpeace, especially with how they I think they started, like, a big thing with them was like nuclear.
Yeah.
And the demonization that they did of nuclear power and a few other things that have always just been like, it just don't sit right with me. They feel very much in the same sort of way. There's been a recent thing that people have said of like, there are certain people get really loud and will claim conspiracy, and what they really mean is they just don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
And that has always kind of been like a sticking point with me, with Greenpeace in particular. Now, can they sometimes be calling out evil people? Yes, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But are they necessarily the ones who should be leading the fight?
But also,
that's
like,
where I'm stuck.
When I was started, okay, so then of course I opened a tab on Greenpeace because
Yeah.
I was like, who are these people?
Yeah.
And as I was reading about it, I was like, they are very bad at communications.
Awful at it.
They're so bad at getting their point across, and they sometimes, not all the time, come off so crazy aggressive that they push their point in the wrong direction. And I was reading about this, what was it, in Greenland? Do you know this story?
No.
I'm gonna get this all wrong.
Okay.
But so in like Greenland,
But the vibes are going to be right, and you're going to be in the right ballpark.
Okay, I'm gonna be in the right ballpark.
Okay.
I am not a journalist. So these people, this company, found gas in the ground, right?
Yeah,
Natural gas in
Yeah.
the ground in Greenland.
Yeah,
right?
that happens.
And they were like, "Ooh, money," as people do.
Yeah.
And Greenpeace found out and showed up on ships that they own. They own ships of some sort.
Yeah, they do.
Crazy. So they show up on their ships and they start talking to the locals about how terrible this company is and how they're going to get all this natural gas and it's going to kill everything. But they also told the locals and the indigenous people, while they're there talking shit on the natural gas, they also said, you guys have to stop eating like seal and whale blubber.
Yeah, which they've historically done.
Like part of their culture, part of their cuisine, all that stuff. And so the indigenous people were like so off put by these people on their boat showing up being like, you need to not accept this natural gas, and also you got to stop eating that whale, and blah, 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 and like just talking mad shit.
Yeah.
That the indigenous people were like, yo, fuck you, Greenpeace, and then like purposely invited the natural gas company in just to spite them.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo,
they're Brita.
Wire.
They're Brita from the community. Like Greenpeace and like there's Brita was based on that type of activism that is like can't fucking pick the one thing.
Yeah.
And like just pick the one thing.
I think that's the whole thing is like when I started reading and I was doing this and I saw the Greenpeace, I knew the name, but I never knew what they did. Like their name isn't giving me a direction on what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Not a good name. They need a better name.
Greenpeace falls into the 80s idea of a tree hugger hippie type of thing.
Yeah.
They, again, seemingly have their heart, much like the Green Party.
Yeah.
And we all know my thoughts on that.
Don't start that.
But they seemingly have their hearts in the right place, but seem to bungle in a direction that often feels like, in my opinion, drives both the conversation and the reality on the ground into the direction of the most evil bastards on earth. And that's my feeling about it. That has been my experience with what I've seen them do. Now, in the case what you're saying, though, they did the ethical arguments that they are bringing up about the disclosures that are being done to these children in China.
Yeah.
That is 100% I agree with.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it is. You should be disclosing to people, hey, we're trying something differently.
Here's every detail about it.
Yes.
Before you agree to put it in your body.
Now, the one thing about genetic modification is that I will say is like it also is a buzzword. It depends on how you're doing it.
Yeah.
We're not going into each grain of rice and tweaking every little one. Is this being done through selection? Because one thing that somebody pointed out to me recently was like how many things are actually just cabbage?
Yeah. A lot of things are cabbage.
A lot of things are actually just...
A lot of things are strawberries.
A lot of things are strawberries. A lot of things are cabbage. Like Brussels sprouts are cabbage.
Yeah. Pineapples are strawberries.
Pineapples are strawberries. All these different things are from times and like thousands of years of humans being like, I want it to be more leafy. I want it to be more
Let me
compact.
tell you something. Broccoli, not even real. We invented that shit.
From cabbage.
Yeah, from cabbage.
Cauliflower is cabbage.
Yep.
They're all just cabbage. We just slowly went like, I want that one to be a little bit more stalky.
Yeah.
I want that one to be a little bit longer. I want that one to be a little bit more leafy. I want that one to be a little bit more compact.
We do it with dogs.
We've been doing it with dogs. Nobody ever says a dog's GMO.
Next
time,
wait,
listen,
okay, a golden doodle is GMO. A golden doodle is GMO. They give off real GMO vibes. Them golden doodles.
Yeah. Yorkies are straight up from Jurassic
Oh my god,
Park.
you held a Yorkie.
Okay, shut up. We said we weren't going to talk about the election. But okay, this is what I sacrificed for democracy, and it didn't work out. I will admit one pseudo fear. I don't like Yorkies.
He has never liked them.
It's because of a very long-standing thing. I had a friend of mine growing up whose grandma had a Yorkie. His grandma passed, and the family inherited this Yorkie, and the Yorkie hated me. And we would be over at his house, like we'd be watching TV or like hanging out in his basement, and the Yorkie would get loose and attack me. So like I view them as land piranhas.
Yeah.
And so whenever I see Yorkies in general, I had a bunch of bad experiences with them. I don't mind a pit bull. Yeah. I'll fucking listen. I understand the pit bull. I look at its body language. I look at the owner. I take in the situation. Every pit bull I treat as an individual. Every German Shepherd I treat as an individual. Every other dog on earth. But with fucking Yorkies, I'm like, y'all the same. All y'all are Duchess. That Yorkie's name was Duchess, and it tried to bite me in the neck. Okay? So I don't trust a fucking Yorkie. And so on election day, I was working the polls, and I was greeting people, and this lady showed up with 2 fucking Yorkies. And she said they won't let me take them inside. And the other person I was working and like volunteering with, Lily scooped him up and just handed me one. And before I knew it, I was holding a Yorkie for 12 minutes.
So someone could go vote.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe we'll win by 1 vote. We lost by 140,000.
Should we take a break?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think we should take... You're right. I'm getting loud.
You're getting loud. We should take a break.
I'm getting loud.
We'll come back.
When we come back, what are we doing? We're still talking about GMOs?
Talking about rice. I just got to finish this rice thought I had.
Go ahead, finish the thought. Then let's take the break.
No, there's like a lot.
Oh.
I didn't even get to why I was so upset with Greenpeace.
Okay. We'll be right back. Okay.
We're back.
All right, now we're gonna back. Okay, so you were talking about Greenpeace and rice.
Yeah.
GMO golden rice.
GMO golden rice. Okay, so then I was reading about they tried to start growing golden rice in the Philippines.
Okay.
And the Philippines, the farmers and some co-op of farmers got really upset about it. They didn't really want to have genetically modified crops because they feel like it's being driven by profit. Like, so there's these groups of corporations that are making billions of dollars selling genetically modified seeds and herbicides. And the companies are like, well, it helps poor people, and biotechnology is good for the poor and is helpful. And so they're like, no, they're just using this. It helps poor people as a branding thing. They just want to use their crops that they genetically own. Not that they genetically own, that they own the rights to. And that's what happens with Monsanto all the time. Yeah. Right? Like, so they own the corn, so then the farmers can't use any other corn, and if the corn blows in another field, then they own it there.
Yeah, there were some legal arguments with that. And then also on top of that, what they're talking about is stuff that's like Roundup ready. Yeah. So you can only really you end up getting like the same way you can only download apps that are approved by the Apple Store for an iPhone. Yeah. That's what ends up happening is you end up kind of in this one company's universe. Exactly. And the other issue that you have with GMOs because of copyright law, which is where people were getting another layer of it. Like there's a certain layer of people who are like GMOs are evil because they're going to do these things to our body. But there's a secondary level of it where GMOs are evil because our copyright law is fucked. And it's because they're like, hey, we made beta carotene rice, or I made a special apple, and you can't keep the seeds.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they made GMOs now where most of the crops won't be self-replicating.
Yeah.
So like right now with a potato, you grow potatoes, you put a potato in the ground, it makes 5 potatoes. And then you're like, cool. And now I'm going to sell 4 of them, and I'll put the 5th one back in the ground. I have self-replicating potatoes.
Yeah.
We can do this for however long we can try. Make a special one where it's like it don't self-replicate anymore.
Yeah.
And that instead of it making 5, it only makes 2. So you need to keep coming back to this specific corporation to buy your seed every year, and they're going to cut into your overhead costs. And farmers are already running on razor thin margins.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the GMOs get extra crazy.
Yeah. So the Greenpeace blocked golden rice in growing in the Philippines. They like did a big push in the Philippines, and were like going out to the farmers and meeting up with the co-ops and being like, don't do this, don't do golden rice, blah, 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 talking about all the different ways that it's bad, right?
Yeah.
And then that was in 2016. 107 Nobel laureates signed a letter protesting and begging Greenpeace to stop their anti-golden rice stance.
Okay.
So like, we get like these Nobel laureates who are like, please, this could really help a lot of children get these nutrients that they need.
Yeah.
And Greenpeace is like, no. And so that's what I mean. It's like, it's such a nuanced argument that I'm like, I don't know which is the best, right? Which is the right way to go. And then I started looking into these farmers groups. It's called Masipag. I cannot, that's an acronym, and I could not even begin to try to pronounce it. It's in Filipino.
Okay,
so
got it.
I'm not going to try.
We can just say Filipino farmers groups.
Filipino farmers group, Masipag. And they, they know what they're talking about, I believe. Like they understand that the vitamin deficiency leads to a lot of people passing away, and they need it for kids, but they're also talking about how like they are forced to buy these crops, and you have to use this specific type of what's it called, monoculture. Basically the way that they do farming is like all of this is corn, but like they want to do like some of this is rice, some of this is these fruit trees, some of this is this, so that you have all different things going at the same time and they all help each other.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with these GMOs, apparently. Like, they don't grow that way, and they're not as resistant to certain things.
Got it.
You know
and
what I
mean? that could destroy the farmland.
Exactly.
So that's where we get into crop rotation, leaving fields fallow, and all this different stuff. So that way the nutrients can come back to actually allow the plants and the plants to actually grow. Because that was an issue. That's part of what caused like the dust bowls and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause they overdid it.
Yeah, they overdid it. But yeah, so yeah, no, I mean, I completely, again, this is why you need to have experts in the field, and those experts aren't necessarily just scientists. This is why a technocracy wouldn't work. But also why you don't want an oligarchy at the same time.
You need experts that are scientists, but you also need an expert in communications,
and you
need an expert in farming.
Yep.
And you need nutritional experts. You need like everybody together.
Yeah.
So, and then like somebody that can communicate to the masses.
Yeah.
Of like, how do you explain this to the farmers and the consumer and like all this, because that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, I did my own research and I went online and I read this scientific paper. It's like, have you ever read a scientific paper? They are written so crazy.
Y'all, I just got my charts. I think I said this in the warm-up. I went to the doctor and I got a checkup and they did blood work and then they sent me my charts.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
No.
I have no idea if I'm okay. They just sent me charts and they were like, you know what the lady told me? She goes, if we call you, there's a problem. If you don't get a call, you're fine. I got no call, so I'm assuming I'm fine. But mind you, during my physical, my doctor walked in. He's like, you quit smoking, right? I was like, yeah, I quit smoking like 500 days ago. He's like, oh. And then he poked me in the tummy. He went, you can work out more, but I guess you're fine. And then he just was like, we're going to take your blood. And then he left.
But also you have I think this is a
guy doctor thing.
A guy doctor thing.
I have a guy doctor.
No, I think it's just like guys get treated differently than women by doctors, obviously. And the one thing that just blew my mind recently is like been having really bad indigestion. And so I'm like Googling, I'm like, oh, I wonder what it could be. I need to go to my doctor and ask some questions about it. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I have like GERD, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at me and you go, oh, I have that. And I was like, what do you mean? You're like, yeah, my doctor gave me a pill. And meanwhile, if I go to my doctor and I'm like, I think I might have GERD, they're going to put me on a special diet. They're going to be like, you got to do this, this, and this. They're never just going to give me a pill.
Yeah.
But your doctor knows you. And he's just like,
no, my doctor didn't know me. When I went in, I was like, I keep getting heartburn. I was like, I cut like certain things on my diet. It went away, but I feel like I used to be able to eat those things. And he was like, yeah, you're getting old. Sounds like you have GERD. And then they had me do like a little like quick test. And he's like, yeah, you got GERD. Take this. And I was like, for how long? He's like, rest of your life probably. I don't fucking care. And he just left. Like my doctor, I don't know how I always end up with grumpy doctors. Like they seemingly hate me. Because like I just show up and like the best was he was like, because again I see him once a year, and my doctor like walked in, he's like, don't you do something fucking like social media or something? I was like, yeah. And he was like, how's that working? I was like, it's been better. He's like, ah. And then he said something. He's like, well, at least you still have health insurance for now. And I was like, for now. And then he's like,
walked out of the room.
He just says the most cryptic shit. And I'm like, I'd much rather. This is why I should just go to an astrologist.
Astronomer. No, just kidding.
No, not an astronomer. I want an astrologist.
You want astrology?
I want somebody to read my palm.
I'm gonna read your palm. Oh no, we'll go to see Cher in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, what then happened?
Oh, we're still on GMOs.
I don't know. I've lost myself. So then Greenpeace still really like, don't eat the golden rice, guys. And their Greenpeace is trying to say that you got to eat 15 pounds of cooked rice a day to get enough of the vitamin A. But the scientists are like, actually, you just need 2 ounces to get enough vitamin A. And so is it misinformation campaign? I don't know. And then Greenpeace is like, listen, there are better ways to deal with vitamin A deficiency. This golden rice is unnecessary. We don't need it. And they're like, we can just do supplementation and fortification. So
which is exactly what they're doing with GMOs.
Yeah, it's a different way to do it. They're like, well, we can just fortify the food. We can fortify the rice with the beta carotene. And they're like, okay, but we just grew it into it. Whatever. And then the thing that was crazy is they're like, oh, it'll be more cost effective if we do supplementation. So pills, like we'll give out pills of vitamin A and beta carotene to everybody. And then somebody did the estimates and was like, listen, it'll cost $4,300 for every life they save. This was in India. So $4,300 for every life they save in India to do supplements. But golden rice would cost $100 per life.
That's pretty big savings.
That's a crazy savings.
That's a pretty big savings. So you can save $4,000.
Yeah.
Save $4,000 per person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other thing too, I keep thinking it just reminds me of like so many things.
Yeah.
That's what's like driving me crazy about it. There was another example that just kind of like popped in and popped out of my head real fast. But like these arguments, a lot of times they're just, oh, I remember. It's like vaccines.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they always point to the first guy who claiming the vaccines were the MMR vaccine was bad.
Yeah, the guy that lost his medical license, that guy?
Yeah, the guy in England.
Mm-hmm.
But what people always forget is his argument wasn't that all vaccines were bad.
No, he just didn't like that one because he had his own vaccine he wanted to sell.
He wanted to sell a 3-part vaccine, and they had figured out how to do he wanted to do 3 shots, and they figured out how to put 3 shots in one, and he was like, no. You should do my 3 shots.
Yeah, I'll make more money.
I can make more money. And they were like, no, we have this working one. And then slowly, again, through misinformation, that morphs.
Jenny McCarthy.
There's actually, there's a really great.
I'm blaming her. She's my plague rat.
She's your plague rat?
Jenny McCarthy's my plague rat.
She's your Gavrilo Princip. He's the guy who shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah.
And started World War I. There's a guy on YouTube called H Bomber Guy. If you ever just need to just go deep on especially the vaccine stuff, and like where it starts. So that way the next time it happens, you can kind of be like, we're doing it again. Mm-hmm. Which is how I kind of view history at this point. I've stopped trying to view history as we can stop this.
No, we're just.
I'm starting to view it of just like, oh, this is a preview. Oh, it's so much simpler then. Oh, and then they use what? A printing press? Have you tried AI? Y'all, we're getting cynical.
Yeah, we've been going for an hour, and I think we've horseshoe theoried ourselves.
I think we have, which is why I love Tulsi Gabbard.
No.
What? I'm sorry.
I wish I had like a thing to slap you with, like a newspaper, like a.
Oh, like a dog?
Yeah.
You want to hit me on the nose like a dog? Don't talk about Tulsi Gabbard.
No. But yeah, basically, after all that, I was just kind of like, is the fortification good? Are we getting too many vitamins? Are we not getting enough? Does it matter where you live and your socioeconomic status? Yes and no.
What you're saying is we're just asking questions.
I'm just asking.
We're just asking.
No, I
think
started my research.
I agree. I actually enjoy this better.
Yeah.
Because again, we're not saying that anything's bad.
Yeah.
We're just saying that there are. Oh God, that actually sounds weird. It's just that there are questions.
No.
God, we sound like a Facebook group.
I just asking questions.
What have you done to me?
I'm just asking questions and doing my own research.
God damn it. So anyway, you gotta take these brain pills.
Yeah. What are in his supplements?
Yeah. No, that's it. Always those same guys though who always just ask questions. They always end up showing you up with the fucking thing with no label.
Yeah.
My favorite was during the pandemic, during the height of it, there was a wrestler. His name's MVP. Mm-hmm. He's a great wrestler. Now he's a manager because he's a little bit older in professional wrestling. And he was talking about how many professional wrestlers went anti-vaxxer. And he had this tweet. And it was something along the lines of, he's like, these motherfuckers are trying to read me scientific journals. And these same guys just bought a bag of pills from a man in a gym locker room that are just marked strong.
That's what I'm saying. That again, back to what I said before the one break. I have in my life purchased a bag of unnamed pills. I can't say shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's why when I go to the doctor, I ask them questions and I say, hey, you went to medical school. Me, I went to community college.
Yeah.
Okay? You tell me what I should do. The end.
Yeah.
I'm not doing my own research about these things. My doctor said, take the calcium pills with the vitamin D. And I said, you got it, boss.
Yep.
You got it. If he has questions about how to make a podcast episode, I got you, fam. I'll help you out.
That's true.
People have different skills, apparently.
I can't find this tweet because every time I type in MVP vaccine tweet into Google, the nightmares of the world keep erupting in front of me. The horrors and nightmares of the world. And I just remembered the piece of news that you told me right before we hit record. I'm not going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
So with that,
it's fine.
You know what news we have?
What?
We have new Patreons and new team leads to greet and new shout outs to give.
Let's do it.
And we're going to do that after this quick break. And y'all, thank you so much for everybody who's been supporting us. Let's go meet some of our new team leaders. And if you want to join us, as you know, you can always join us at pearlmania500.net. And then you can hear things like our Patreon exclusive Parasocial podcast, The Warm Up, and others. We'll be right back.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania
500.net.
Yes, to join the Patreon, become a team leader, and to keep our mission going, our mission of bringing the tee-hee-hees and the giggles right into your ear holes while you try to pass the time at your job, ask your boss for a raise. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and start. We got a few. Let's go. Starting off, we have Gwen Dragon.
Hey, hon.
What a nice name.
I like that.
I like that name a lot. After that, we have Jessica Hastillo.
Hey, hon.
After that, this next one, smart. These people are very, very smart.
Okay.
Figmentpudding.com is on a mission to weaponize joy and whimsy.
Oh, hey, hon. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there, too. And now that I'm reading it out loud, I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what that website is.
Figment pudding?
Figmentpudding.com.
Okay.
Let's see.
I hope it's not something pornographic.
Be the weird. No, it's crochet stuff.
It is. I love crochet
it's very
stuff.
cute. Oh, it's cute frog stuff.
Cute frog things?
Yeah, this is cute. They got a little shop here and a portfolio. Look, Crochet Frog Palooza. They got a holiday shop collection. Froggy Horror. These look like stickers and things down here. Yeah, they got
That's
magnets.
cute.
This is really cute stuff. Oh my God, I love this. Figmentpudding.com. They figured out how to get past. Listen, do not tell
Shout out.
the
Don't.
other sponsors that for $5. Figmentpudding.com. I am going to start checking these, though, before I start just screaming at their website, because that's how you start telling people how to go to find out more about QAnon. Okay, up next, we have Victor _ Skylark.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin.
After that, we have Jacqueline Pericker-Lesieux.
I like that you made him work for that one. Hey, hon.
You did. After that, we have Mystera.
Hey, hon.
And next, we have Probably a Warlock.
Probably?
And that's their name. It's all one
Maybe.
word. Probably a Warlock.
Supposedly. Hey, hon.
After that, we have Kiko _ 83.
Hey, Kiko.
You know what? Big shout out to you. I'm guessing you're born in 1983. I always feel bad for anyone born in 1988.
Why?
Because there will be like something 88. And you're like, either that person is
I
this
see.
old, they're 36 years old this year, or they are
suspicious.
they are.
And that's our low Nazi game.
We did do that this episode.
We did. We should have hit it.
Yeah.
We,
Who knew?
You know what? To be fair,
Yeah.
with that topic, there was.
That's what I mean. I was like, don't
we
hit
don't
it.
know.
We don't know where we're going to go.
We don't know. We could end up.
Somehow.
The crunchy to Nazi pipeline
So
is
strong.
It is such a short pipe.
It's
It is such a short
it's
pipe.
a pool noodle. It's
It
not even
is.
a pipe.
It's not even a pipe.
It's a pool noodle.
After Kiko _ 83, we have Zagreus _ the _Knight.
Hey, hon.
And Knight is like a knight of the round table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zagreus. After that, we have Sierra.
Hey, hon.
Love your music. After that, we have Katie.
Hey, hon.
And finally, we have Chloe.
Hey, Chloe.
Hey.
What is C or K?
With CH.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, Chloe. But she has the little accent over the E.
Oh,
She put it
bougie.
in. I'm guessing she did it on her phone, and I'm guessing she held the letter long enough to get
I
the little
like
accent.
that. That's
Congratulations to
fancy.
you. I do. It is fancy.
That's
You know,
like there's a fancy designer named Chloe.
you know what's
Spells like
always
that.
I always think about is how on the iPhone with autocorrect.
Chloe Sevigny. That's
Chloe
what I think
Sevigny.
of.
Yeah, that's
Love
that's
her
nice.
so much.
Yeah, she's great. But when you do autocorrect and type Beyonce, it automatically adds the accent.
Yeah, it
Because
knows.
she has that power that she's like, there should be an accent.
It is her internet.
Yeah,
We're just on it.
it's very true. And we've all been on it together today. We've all had a really good time. And thank you guys so much for everybody who's been joining us here on this food health journey.
No, it's not a food health journey.
From Freely the Banana Girl
No.
to that one evil nurse from Australia. To other Australian grifters.
The Australian grifter game is pretty
The
strong.
Australian grifter game is strong. And guess what? It's going to get stronger in America. I didn't even mention RFK Jr. once.
We almost made it.
We almost made
I told you
the
not
whole
to talk about
episode. I just, for everyone, get down in the comments. And Jess, what's our comment going to be today?
I don't know.
How about we'll go with I don't want to say fortified D's nuts.
No.
Just the comment should be fortify potion.
No.
Give me my fortify potion.
Fortify potion?
Fortify alchemy.
No,
Fortify.
they don't have to spell alchemy.
They should figure it out.
Everybody doesn't spell alchemy. Just type rickets.
You heard it here first, everybody. The comment of the week is rickets.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.